Right, so in this set of videos, we're going to basically create a menu system. It's probably one of the maybe most under valued but important elements of having a game. So first thing we're going to do, or let's just close these. First thing we're going to do is create a new level. So we're actually going to have our menu in a new level. And I want actually an empty level. This is just going to be our main menu level. So I'm going to create that. And I'm going to go and save this one. Save current level. Maps, yeah, and I'm going to call this main menu 02. Okay, so fantastic. What do we want to do now? Well, we actually need a menu as well, don't we? So this thing at the moment, we can hit play, and if you have a look up here, it's quite interesting to see that sort of the actors in yellow are the ones that are created at runtime. So we've got a first-person character, first-person game mode, we've got a camera actor, network manager, game session, game state base HUD, and a whole lot of other things. Here, player controller, and there's another important one we need to think about as well. So these things, we're going to actually create some of our own here. If you can see down the bottom here, we've got our game mode. We've talked about these before. We're going to create these later. All right, so let's just come out of that. So there's really nothing in here, and that's just what I want, an empty window. So let's go in here and go to our UI, and we're going to create a main menu. So we go to user interface, widget blueprint, like so. We want a widget blueprint, and let's call it UI main menu 02. And just Control Shift S just to save things. If anything crashes, we've got it. It's going to create a simple menu, simple UI to begin with. If you watch the last few videos, apologies, I've got a bit of a cold at the moment, so if I'm coughing and spluttering, apologies for that. If you watch my previous videos, the first thing we do is you grab a canvas panel, drag that down here into a hierarchy, and we've got a canvas panel right here, which is fantastic. That gives us a canvas to work with. And the first thing we're going to do is come down to our panels again and grab a vertical box. So this allows us, if we look at the tooltip, the vertical box widget is a layout panel allowing child widgets to be automatically laid out vertically. And this is what we're going to put our buttons in. So I'm going to drop this down here. We've got our vertical box. We need to position it in the center because I want my menu buttons to be right in the center of the screen. You can put it wherever you like. So anchors, center. Similar to what we did last time again, I'm just going to reset position X and position Y. Alignment. Alignment's from 0 to 1. You can see what's 0, 0 here. If I put 1 in there, you'll notice in the middle here it goes to the end. So these are all relative positions, relative alignment. I can put 1 in here and it'll go to the top. So 0 is that it's aligned to the top left-hand corner. So if I want it aligned in the middle, I just do 0.5 for both of these. And we get a nice center alignment to our little daisy thing here. Size-wise, I think I'm going to go for something like 300 by 300. It's not too important. Don't forget the focus of what I'm demonstrating here for you is the sort of technical side of things. You can make these as pretty as you like. I'm really not worried about it being pretty. I'm really focused on showing you how to set it up from more of a technical side. So we've got our panel in the middle here. Now we can come up here to our common, and you'll see we've got a button control here. Just drag this down into our vertical box like so, and we get our button. And I'm going to call this button new game. And you can notice a couple of things here. So we've got these things up the top here. I will mention the widget blueprints kind of behave a little bit strangely sometimes. So by default we've got full horizontal, full vertical. That doesn't really work for me, so I'm going to change that to center align, and I want it up the top, so that is okay. And you can see it's kind of doing some weird stuff here. If we go fill, that doesn't really work for me either. that looks terrible. So what we need to do to fix this, it's a little bit weird, and in fact I haven't called this. I need to, okay, naming conventions. New game is fine. I just want to put BTN in the beginning of that, just so I know it's a button and I can access it if I want to. Okay, so just that. What we want to do, you'll notice we don't have any text or anything here, so I want to put some text in this control as well. So I'm going to drop a text control down into the new game button. And you'll see when I do that, bang, things change. So this is the strange way that UMG works, which is what this is called. And that's just something we need to work with. So when I put the text block in there, it actually makes it larger, puts it in the center, which is great. It's exactly what I want. And we can change this to new game as well. So the other thing I want to do, by default, our buttons allow us to set up a rollover. And if we come up the top here, so we've set this one up under style. It's kind of hiding under here for some reason under style. You can see we've got color and opacity, so you can change these, but I'm just going to leave them at default for now. Change the background color, but if we go to style, you'll see we get normal, hovered, and pressed. So normal, I'm okay with that sort of light gray, no problem. Hovered is when our mouse goes over it, so I'm just going to change this. These are things that are done for us. You don't have to code these or anything at all, so that's all good. Just going to make it a little bit darker. I go okay. And then for pressed, we're going to go for just a red, so we know that it's been pressed. Fantastic. And what else do we want to do here? I guess we're going to put some code on here. So what actually happens when this thing gets clicked? Just going to put something simple. So if we come down here again, it sets things up for us. So you see I've got my events here on clicked. That's what we want to set up. So if I click, mouse click on the big green plus, it's going to set this up for me. Now you can see we've changed to a different window. We've got the event graph here. And if we look to the right-hand top corner, you'll see it's got graph. To the left here, it's got designer as well. Now, this is the way that our UMG widgets work. It's a little bit different to other blueprints. So this is still a blueprint. If I go to designer, it takes us back to our interface design panel, our WYSIWYG design panel. So I can just come back there. If I want to go back to the graph, I click on this one here. So all I'm going to do is just to drag out and go print string, and we're just going to type in here new game pressed, so we know something has actually happened. Compile and save. And one thing I want to do before we finish up is, at the moment, all we've got is a button there. I want to put a heading on there as well. So we're going to just grab another panel. Sorry, another box. Really can be anything. So I'm going to grab a horizontal box this time and drag it onto my canvas panel, like so. And it's sitting up in the top left-hand corner. This time I'm going to place it relative to the top. So these anchors give you an anchor point. So you see at the moment my anchor point's the top left. I actually just want it to the top center. So we click on that, it goes to the center. Again, if I reset these positions, it goes 0, 0. And again, I can align it just to the center. So center X 0.5. And I'm okay with it being up the top. That should be fine. And now the position X, I can change this. So I'm just going to do maybe 2, oops, except I don't want a long X, I want a long Y. My bad. 200. I think that's okay. We can change it, maybe 100. I just want this to be the heading. And I'm going to grab another text control up the top here and pop it into my horizontal box right here. And let's just go main menu, because we do want our players to know that they are in the main menu. I'm going to make this larger. So you can see under the font here, we've got font family. At the moment, we only have the base font, which is Roboto, I think. You can create other fonts. It's not something I'm going into now, but it's actually pretty easy to, if you find just a normal font file online, you can pretty easily import that into Unreal and create your own fonts that way. So that's pretty easy to do. We're just going to stick with the basics here for now. We've got bold. Let's cancel that. I'm just going to make that 50. Oops, 52. Like so. Now let's go center. That's not doing that for me, is it? Yeah. So as I mentioned, where would we do fill? No, it's not going to do that. UMG has its own way that it does things here. So I want it in the center. The way to fix that up and why it does this, I don't even know. It just does it. So let's do 300. Oh, no. Sorry, Control Z. Come on. Control Z. Go back to where we started. And sorry, I didn't want to move it. I want to change the size. So size X. Let's do size Y. Make that no, we don't want that 200. My bad. 60. And maybe a little bit more. Maybe 80. And size X 300. Maybe a little bit more. Let's maybe 350. You just kind of have to experiment around and see how they go. So now, my heading is in the center, which is where I wanted it. It's where it should have been. You just have to play around with those things. I'd even make that 400 just in case we change the font. Oh, and it's not going to do that now. Why? We've got it there. If we hit fill, there we hit fill. See, why does this work this way? I do not know. This is one of the parts of the Unreal Engine that, to be honest, just works in some bizarre ways. That's all I can say. But anyway, we've got our main menu there. Let's compile. Let's save. And that's all I want to do for now. Just something simple. Again, I like to do the simple stuff first so we know that it's working and we know that we've got it happening there. So the first thing we need to do is actually in our menu level is actually get it appearing on screen. We're going to come into our blueprint level and open that up. Don't need my tick event there, so I'm going to delete that. We're just going to have our begin play event, which is great. First thing we want to do is create our widget, which is our blueprint widget. The class, so we can either come into here in our drop down and select main menu 2. We want an owning player, which is, if we just go to get player controller. Okay, so player controller. In effect, we have two classes when we're talking about any sort of players or characters within the environment. We have the player character and we have the player controller. So the controller looks after sort of all the input and output in the screen, etc. Player character is what exists within the game world. So we want the controller here. We're going to say, well, I want the player controller to own the main menu widget. Next thing we need, I'm going to just create a variable. Now this is something I tend to do just simply out of habit, because quite often you want to come in and actually access these things, these variables that we're creating. And if you've got it as a variable already, it just makes it easier. So I'm going to say promote to variable. I'm going to call it main menu. And we have that. And then what do we want to do? We want to add to the viewport here. So let's just hit that. So we're adding that to the viewport. And then we need to do another important thing. Well, in fact, that will show up. So let's just have a quick look at it. Compile and save. And if I hit play, voila, we get it here. And you can see my rollover works. No coding. Hey, fantastic. No coding and my rollover works. Got our main menu. If I hit new game, bang, new game pressed. Nice. Now, problem is if I click outside of here, I've lost my cursor, my mouse cursor, and we don't really want that to happen, and I can't now access my button. So what we need to do is, if I can remember correctly, focus, or is it input? Input. Let me just try set input. Here we go. Set input. So we get a few different options here. We get set input mode UI only, set input mode game mode. Set input mode game only, and set input mode game and UI. What we want here is our UI only. Now that stops it from accessing the the background, which is the game. So let's just go UI only. And widget to focus is this one. So let's connect that up. Player controller is this one here. So let's connect that up. Mouse lock mode, that should work. Do not lock is okay. And then we connect those up. And then the final thing we want to just make sure we actually show the mouse. So let's just do mouse cursor, hang on, show mouse. Oh, you don't want to do that for me. Mouse. You're not going to show me the mouse cursor. Is that true? I'm going to events. Let's try turning that off. And see if it'll give it to us now. Cursor. Set show mouse cursor. So this happens sometimes. Normally, Unreal's pretty good at guessing what you want here. So setting context sensitive. Now, unless we can't do it from within here, which is possible, but I think we should be able to. So we set show mouse cursor to on or to true. Target. I think we also need our player controller as well. Lovely. All right, let's see if that compiles. That does compile. Let's go back and have a look. Click play, so we've still got this. Now if I click down here, okay, so I'm clicking on the background and my mouse is not disappearing, which is exactly what I want. I can click on here and we get new game pressed. Fantastic. So this is a basic little main menu, or something you can use for a main menu level. So I'm going to pause here, come back, and we'll look at actually doing something useful with our main menu.